Hi everyone. So the series of videos that you just saw, we defined data science very elaborately in terms of the different tasks involved in that, which included collecting data, storing data, processing data, describing data, and then finally modeling data, right? And we also zoomed into each of these tasks and showed how in different situations their purview changes or their scope changes. And that should also give you some clarity on why different definitions of data scientists exist, right? So someone who is actually only working on data visualizations is also a data scientist because he is trying to find meaningful patterns by visualizing data and so on, which could help in downstream modeling. Someone focusing too much on storage and data warehouses and data lakes and so on, or working with different formats of data, transforming data from one format to another, and hence doing data wrangling, mangling, is also a data scientist, right? So there's this different tasks and their attention or importance varies depending on the end application in mind. Now the question is that now that we have more clarity on what data science is, we need to address the next question, which is why is data science so popular today, right? So what are the factors which have contributed to it becoming so popular? So the first, of course, is that today data is everywhere, and data science, of course, as the term suggests, depends on data, and we have abundance of data today, right? Not only in terms of the personal devices that we have, our laptops, our mobile phones, our smart watches, our iPads and tablets and so on. These are all personal devices which we interact with the connected world around us and hence generate a lot of data and also consume a lot of data in this process, right? Then also data comes in from sensors which have been put all around. So say in agricultural areas, in buildings, in where you have temperatures being recorded, you have pressure being recorded, and other such measurements being taken regularly, speedometers on highways and so on. So a lot of sensor data is also flowing in. And then of course you have this transactional data, which has again really grown in the past decade or 2 decades thanks to this digital revolution. Right now everything is online, be it government services, hospital services, insurance services. Everyone wants to have a digital record of all the transactions and operations happening in an organization, which in turn of course generates a lot of data, right? And now so much of data is available that it has become almost imperative to do something with this data and draw insights from it. If you are not doing it and if your competitor is doing it, then you're losing an advantage there, right? So there's a keen interest in converting data into insights because you have lots of data, and it's also been proven in multiple fields that drawing insights from data could have direct impact on your business, right? So this abundance of data is the first factor which contributes to the popularity of data science. The second factor is devices becoming more powerful and cheaper. So what do I mean by devices? So first let's talk about storage, right? As you're collecting large amounts of data, you need to store it. We discussed this in detail. And now for storing, you need devices in terms of databases or storage on the cloud. And 2 decades back or so, these devices were very expensive. Just think about this, right? Maybe 10 years back or 12 years back, if you wanted to buy a pen drive, I don't know if pen drives more than 2 GB were available around that time, or at least 12 years back or something, right? And today you could have pen drives up to 64 GB or even more than that, I'm not sure. So now, and at the same time, that the cost has also decreased drastically. Whatever perhaps you paid for a 2 GB pen drive 12 years back is roughly the same what you pay today for a 64 GB pen drive, or at least it's not exponentially grown, right? So devices have become powerful and they have become also cheaper. Storage devices are now available for much cheaper rates, and same is true for specialized hardware such as GPUs, right? So now GPUs are used for a lot of machine learning processing, right? So for a lot of machine learning loads are actually run on these specialized hardware, including GPU. In particular, within machine learning, deep learning is run on GPUs, which allows you to build very complex models, train them on large amounts of data, and do all this very efficiently in much smaller times than what was possible 10 years back or 12 years back, right? So this is an interesting statistic that within the last decade, the cost of bulk storage has reduced by over 6 times. And GPUs have also become 100 times more capable in the same time, and their costs are also rapidly decreasing, right? So it's not that as devices are becoming more and more faster, the costs are also increasing exponentially. That typically does not happen in the case of these electronic devices, where they become more powerful, but the price does not really increase that much, right? And if at all, in some cases, it also decreases. So that's the other reason why data science is so popular today, because you have the capability to, or the ability to process large amounts of data after storing them for much cheaper amounts than you could do earlier. The third is, and the very important part is, democratization of both software and hardware. So what do I mean by that? First, let's talk about the software. So companies like Facebook and Google have actually invested a lot in democratizing these technologies by making their frameworks such as TensorFlow and PyTorch openly available. So while doing so, what they have done is they have hidden all these complexities such as compilation and optimization on specific hardware, and they have provided a very easy interface to data scientists to quickly try out a lot of things with data, build very powerful models without really worrying about what is the optimization algorithm underlying. And that's where also this notion of no math required comes in, right? People believe that there are these frameworks, I can just put in data into that and then get some results out. Of course, while that notion is not completely true, because unless you have a strong mathematical foundation, you might often struggle to draw the right kind of conclusions, or you might get stuck if you don't get the desired results and don't know what next to do to improve your optimization algorithm. But keeping that aside, the availability of these frameworks have significantly impacted how quickly a data scientist can get into a field, quickly build models, try out a wide range of models and algorithms, and quickly get insights from data, right? And this is also coupled with hardware. So hardware also in some sense has been democratized. What I mean by that is that while TensorFlow and PyTorch are free, I'm not saying that hardware is available for free, but it's available at much cheaper costs on cloud, right? You don't have to invest in buying something upfront, paying the full cost of the device. If you want to buy some 20 GPUs, you don't have to pay the full cost upfront. If you need them for 1 week, you can just rent them on the cloud, only pay for that much amount that you're using. And that's what I mean by democratization of hardware, which now allows a single data scientist, right, to set up a complete stack on the cloud, which were beyond the reach of even very big companies a few years back, right? So I want to set up the entire stack from storage to compute. All of this I can do on the cloud for much cheaper rates and at my convenience, right? I want it for 2 weeks, okay, I'll do it, then I'll kill off my instances and then again rent them whenever I want and so on. And all this rebooting of instances and all has also become very easy with the availability of Dockers and other frameworks, right? So that's what I mean by both software and hardware being democratized and made easily available to a wider audience, which has really boosted how data science happens today and how quickly a data scientist can start working with data. Right? So these are the reasons why data science is so popular today. So I'll end this video here and then we'll come back and talk about a few more questions that we had in the learning objectives. Thank you.